Good morning, team. It is, what's today's date? What, holy moly. Is
28.
it the 28th of April already? Come on, man. Where the heck did the time go? You know, they say when you're a kid, every day seems like a year. And when you get old, every year seems like a day. Is there a little bit of truth in that, maybe? Maybe a little bit. Well, anyway, welcome. Welcome to the John Lavenia Success Mastermind for your Wednesday, 28th of April of 21. I'm your guy, Glen Henderson, and let us knock off the let's see. Well, let us knock off the housekeeping first. What have we got going today? Right now, you're in the Gen Sesh. Coming right after us is the hospitality suite. Swing on by, say hello, have a chat. 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Books for Britain with Mandy Anderson, covering the power of consistency. And then Life and Business Tools with Professor Adrian Garner. That will be at 6 Eastern this evening. And then it's your boy back at 9 o'clock tonight Eastern with Networking Magic. Who knows what magic may be on the cards for this evening, as our British friends would say. What's on the cards for this evening? I guess we'll find out. Yeah, so we're in the process of moving, transferring, transitioning domiciles, moving from our current place to a really, really nice joint that we found online and then went over and checked it out. And let's see. Show of hands. Anybody feel like seeing a picture or two of the new house? Well, outstanding. I hope I wasn't being a bore. I wasn't doing the vacation slides thing.
Do it.
So what's the address of this joint? Oh, there it is. I probably shouldn't put the address, because it's sort of like public information, and somebody may like swoop in and try to steal the house out from under us, And so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna share my screen, and listen, you're gonna find out the address anyway, and it doesn't matter because the house is already under contract, so you can't come and get it. Well, let's see. What's it look like? There it is. Everybody see that? Pretty nice, eh? So, let's see.
Very nice, Glenn. Congratulations.
Thank you. A couple of pictures. I'll tell you the best things about this place. It's already prepped, plumbed out, as they say, for an elevator when the time comes. I'll tell you what we're really excited about. That's the dining room. Look at this open plan. See, we don't fool around, down here in Houston. And this is a gorgeous design, this place. And you see the dining room that flows right through. And now watch this. You see over to the left, 3 floor-to-ceiling sliding glass doors out to the balcony, which is abso-freaking-lutely gorgeous. I'm kind of blasting right through here. Now see, is that not your Star Trek bathroom or what? Just saying. And there's the balcony, gorgeous view. So, we're pretty darn excited about the thing. And so it's going to be a really nice. It's already getting pretty exciting. We'll crack open our first bottle of bubbles in the house, and we'll let you know. Might even shoot a little video and post it up someplace if that's all right. If that's all right with y'all. So thank you. It's not. I imagine a lot of people have similar opinions about packing and moving a new place. A lot of people say, oh, it's such a hassle, it's such hard work, there's so much to do. And all of that couldn't be true. Thank you, Daisy. It is a lot of work, and there's a lot to do, long laundry list. The thing of it is, I like it. That's just me. It wouldn't surprise you all that much to hear me say that I enjoy stuff that other people think is like nuts. But then you all knew that I'm nuts from the beginning, right? So I actually enjoy it. Yeah, Carl's You're nodding your head a bit too enthusiastically there, Carl. Come on, man. You're supposed to say, no, Glenn, you're great. Nice. So I'll tell you what I enjoy about moving, packing, moving, traveling, new places, new experiences, new people, get to start new conversations, create new connections, build new friendships and relationships. See, that we've already started chatting with a few people in the development. There's only 21 houses in this place, and we've already started getting friendly with the neighbors and everything else. And so, by the way, we're doing something that I think is fairly unique in this whole home buying and home selling process. We're scheduled to move out of the current house on the 8th of May, Saturday the 8th of May. In case anybody's in town, we are going to be throwing, wait for it, a house cooling party at the old place. And I've got some very, very dear friends of ours, a young couple, Dave and Jenna, are going to be catering it for us. Dave is a gourmet chef, and they run a catering business, private chef and catering business. So they're going to be doing some stuff. Of course, I will be firing up the grill with a couple of racks of baby backs. So y'all come on round. Come on over. Suzanne will be there, I know. I'm looking forward to it. We might even save a rib for you or something. So we're going to throw a house cooling party and then a house warming party, of course, in the new place. So it's pretty groovy. Transitions. I like transitions. I like change, like my man, Mr. Spock. Yeah, you knew it was coming, didn't you? Change, Mr. Spock once said, is the essential process of all existence. So, embrace change. That would be my first suggestion for the day. Embrace change. And now the bad news. Switch subject. This, I think, is going to be the topic of today's talk. Now the bad news, which is also the good news. What? Yeah. I've been thinking the last few days, last little bit of time, whatever, about persistence. You know, that quality of character which compels us to not take no for an answer. Whew, boy, and by the way, I'm speaking again from some stuff that I'm reading in this book that I was talking about last time. 1 Minute Charge by our good friend, Mr. Pierce Lyons. Pierce Lyons. Did I ever tell you the story about Pierce Lyons and how we got to know him a bit? There's a couple of new faces that I'm seeing here, which, by the way, where are my manners, Linda Landry and Gail? Nice to see you. Edward, my man. Edward, holding it down in the U of K. Good to see you there, Mr. Bradford and Jane, John, Janet, Julia. Wait a minute, what's all with all the J's? Carl and Carlene. See what I did there? Carl and Carlene. Allie, Emma. Welcome, Sandra, and Daisy, Evelyn Smith, and the one and only Madam Chop Chop herself. Nice to see you, Evelyn, and Janet's here, and Ingrid still hurtling through space, we assume, and Hung San, Lara Chen, nice to see you. My man Ace is in the building. Who have I missed? Emma and Edward and no. Oh yes, the good Lieutenant Colonel is with us. Nice to see you, sir. Yeah. And all of this is thanks to Lynn. Welcome. Thanks for popping in. Good to see you. And the Money Mama is here as always. She's got her camera off as usual. She's out playing her daily round of golf. Nice to see you, Lindsay. So persistence. You may not have heard this story about Pierce Lyons, the president and founder of All Tech. He's a Scottish gentleman who came over to the U.S. and made his fortune in technology. went back to Ireland, and wanted to give something back to the Irish people for, his heritage and so forth. So he, as a good Irishman would, started a distillery. And so Paula and I had the chance to visit the distillery while we were in Ireland a couple of years ago, and told us the story and the whole process of how Irish pot still whiskey is made. We told them we were there for our anniversary trip. They went and dusted off a bottle out of the basement and gave it to us just for the special occasion. I'm telling you, if you happen to be an aficionado of whiskey, particularly Irish pot still whiskey, and if you can find it, I highly recommend you track yourself down a bottle of Pierce Lyons. In my case, I would recommend, there's several varieties. I would recommend the Cooper's Reserve. That's the one they gave us. Pierce Lyons. Pearsleyons. Pierce Lyons Cooper's Reserve. If, as I say, you can find it. So, Pierce Lyons wrote this wonderful book called 1 Minute Charge, Daily Tips for Successful Business Management. I was just reading recently and came across this section on persistence. So check this out. He's got all sorts of wonderful quotes in here. Watch this. Without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning. That's Benjamin Franklin. Oh, here's a good one. We learn wisdom from failure much more than from success. Anybody ever tell you, as Samuel Smiles said that, we often discover what we'll do by finding out what we'll not do. And probably he who never made a mistake never made a discovery. What's this mean? Anybody who's participated in sports, whether team sports, individual sports, will tell you, and I believe it's absolutely true, that we as athletes in that realm, we learn far more. We learn far more from our losses, from our defeats, than we learn from our victories. We learn more about ourselves. Yes, we can certainly learn from victory. We can learn what worked if we were keeping track, if we were paying attention and noticing what we were doing as we were playing the game, as we were competing, what we did that went well, what we did that worked. Keep track of that, document it, do it again. Repeat what works, drop what doesn't, right? Here's the thing. I really do believe that in sports as well as in business. Oh, wait a minute. There could be news. I'm interrupting myself here. There could be news. Let's see. Just checking. I'm checking to see whether they've left the house yet, whether the inspectors have left the house. No, they're still there. These things always take a couple hours. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, we learn so much more from our defeats, from our setbacks, than we do from our victories, if we are willing to keep our minds open, if we are willing to be open to what has been called constructive criticism, coaching. Whenever I'm on the phone with somebody and they're talking to me about their troubles and some struggle they're having, I always preface my response with the following question. I always say, are you open to a little coaching? Because, not everybody is. And I run the risk, if I don't ask permission, I run the risk of ending up giving free advice, which, as we all know, free advice is worth pretty much what you pay for it. So sometimes the hardest thing in the world is to be open to coaching after or even after a setback, or even during a difficult time, because sometimes we just want to forget about it. Okay, it was a setback, it was a defeat, it was a failure. Just forget it. Let's just move on. I don't want to think about it anymore. Let's go. But if we pay attention, if we look deeper into exactly what happened, where I failed, what did I say on the phone call? What did I say? What words did I use in the conversation where I noticed that the tenor of the conversation changed? I used a particular phrase and I could see the other person's eyes glazing over like I'd lost them. You ever been in a conversation like that? And you say something and at some point you realize, geez, you know what? She's not even listening to me anymore. Not really. She's being polite, but she's checked out. Okay. Sometimes that's just somebody being rude. Yeah. A lot of times I can go back later and look at that conversation and, okay, what did I say? At what point did I notice that the eyes had glazed over? And if I look back, take a deep dive into that conversation and think about it at another level, I can probably figure out, what was it I said? What was it I was saying at that moment that caused the shift in that person's attitude? Oh, okay. It was that thing I said. Well, don't frickin' say that again. Note to self, right? And this is where, from this point, this is the point from which we begin to really become wonderfully self-aware and aware of our own habits of speech and of tone of voice and of body language and of technical activity. When I was dealing with setting up that particular ad for this particular item on my e-commerce website, and the whole thing just went pear-shaped, and okay, what was the last thing I did before the whole thing blew up? Okay, let's go back to that point. Right. I used this phrase instead of that phrase. I post something for sale and it doesn't sell. Okay. The last thing I posted sold like hotcakes. What's the difference between that and this? Well, I can tell you right now, you get on the phone, call Madam Chop Chop, she can tell you in about 12 seconds what's different between that one and this one. So, coaching. Being open to coaching. Sometimes what I did or didn't do, more accurately, sometimes if I'm not getting the results that I desire, it's because I'm simply not working hard enough or long enough or consistently enough. I remember once I was I was involved with a certain network marketing company, and I was talking with my mentor at that time. And I was moaning and groaning about how, everybody I was talking to was saying no, and man, I just can't get any traction. I just can't seem to enroll anybody in a business. I just can't seem to pick up any customers and blah, blah. What am I doing wrong? I said, man, what am I doing? He said, Glenn, it's very simple. You're not talking to enough people. Duh. Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Yes, all right. Captain Jean-Luc Picard once said to his android second in command, Data. Data was talking about a situation where Data was in a competing against another human, and he was defeated. The human defeated the android. This can't happen. AI, it's supposed to be undefeatable, unbeatable. But Data kept losing to this guy and losing to him and losing to him. And Data went to the captain and said, I do not understand, sir. I would be doing this. I made all the technically correct moves, and yet he still defeated me. What am I doing wrong? Where am I erring? And Captain Picard said to him, Data, it is possible to do everything right and still lose. That is not a weakness. That is life. And so, it may be, in your particular case, that if you're not yet getting the results that you desire with your business or with your or networking marketing organization or with your sales career or with your e-commerce website or whatever it is you're doing, it is entirely possible that the only thing standing between you and the success you seek is to simply do more of what you're already doing right for a longer time, more consistently over a longer period of time. Just keep doing it. We have a saying in the business group that I'm a part of, the organization that I'm a part of. We have a saying is that no one fails in this company. No one fails in this business organization. They simply stop. You catch that? No one fails here. Because and we can see that because example after example after example I could cite of top leaders, top earners who after months, some years, many years in some cases, and finally, boom, like an overnight success. The success, the results, the stats, the income begins to flow. What's the difference between that person and this other person who may not have the success? Well, like we say, the person who had the success, one of the common denominators is that they simply didn't quit. They simply didn't give up. So, as we say, if what you're doing it comes from a legitimate business model, and if there are other people making money doing what you want to do, and obviously if it's honest, moral, legal, ethical, and other people are making money doing what you seek to do, what's that tell you? It tells you that there's money to be made. If someone can succeed, then someone else can succeed, including you. And sometimes the difference is, in fact, usually, the difference is consistent right effort over time. And that is the area, that is the point at which so many people quit, quail in their efforts. That is the block over which so many people stumble. You mean I gotta do this for another 6 months? Yeah, maybe. Man, you mean I gotta do this for another 3 years? Yeah, maybe. I know of a couple in my business organization who have achieved quite a significant level of success from scratch to where they are now. It took them about 3 years. I know another couple, same organization, same business group, who've achieved a significant level of success, and it took them 26 years. How long is it going to take you? I don't know. What I do know is that you will never get there if you quit. So, quote, Dale Carnegie. And I'm going to wrap with this because I would love to hear from you about persistence and what you think. Dale Carnegie. Most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by people who have kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all. Can I read that again? That's good. That's good preaching right there. Most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by people who have kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all. So you may very well be doing all the right things, particularly if you're listening to Mr. Lavenia or Madam Chop Chop or Adrian Garner, Ivier, those of us who have surpassing intelligence and knowledge and skill, like our good man, Lieutenant Colonel, talking to us about strategic, tactical marketing. The man knows marketing. You ought to listen to him. So there are those of us here in the Mastermind who have the knowledge and the skill and are more than happy to coach and share insights and advice. And you're following all the advice. And you're still not yet seeing the tangible evidence in the stats increasing, in the success that you seek. That may be a clue that the one missing ingredient for you is time. Just don't quit. Just don't quit. Going to say it again. Just don't quit. And as I was saying to another member of my own personal group, my own personal business team, I was saying, because the person was saying, oh, I'm so excited about this. I'm really, because I've tried different things before and didn't work out, but I'm really looking forward. I said, that's great. Keep one thing in mind. This will probably be, in terms of your learning curve, your effort, and the time involved, I said, this will probably be, knowing a little about the person's history, I said, this will probably be the hardest thing you've ever done in your life, business-wise. Are you prepared for that? There will be times when you're going to want to hang them up. There will be times when you're going to say, what the hell was I thinking starting this darn thing? There will be times when you will feel like the person who says, what's the great thing about banging your head? What's the best thing about banging your head against the wall? It's how good it feels when you stop, right? I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall. I'm not getting anywhere. We've all felt that. Raise your hand if you've never felt that. Raise your hand. You're a liar. So, Thomas Edison, and I really will wrap up with this. Thomas Edison, when you've done everything you can, remember this: you haven't. Thank you all for listening to me run my mouth, and now I'm going to zip it and let you run your mouth. Who would... Please, someone save me from myself. I'm going to just keep going. Mark says, I'm going to need to put a Star Trek pick motif fixture in that bathroom. I've got several. There's several things that I've got planned for that bathroom. Madam Chop Chop, what say you?
Today you're touching on something that I learned a few years ago. We had that recession. I was working in the mortgage industry at the time, and I was hit with breast cancer back then. Fast forward a few years, 2011, 2012, I started in the industry I'm currently in, which is, business development and staffing. And through that industry, I had to do sales more directly, but within the staffing industry. And there was something that I learned about persistence and consistency and never giving up. There is always something we learn from everything we do. I have shared with you before that with network marketing, I learned how to network with people, create relationships, and based on those relationships that you keep for years and years, you're always learning something new. But was in the staffing industry where I had to literally cold call on companies, people I never knew, either over the phone, email, and follow up with a visit to these people. Mark, companies like your wife's, dental practice, that I will walk in with a box of bagels or donuts and establish relationships and just drop them off with a nice handwritten note.
Smiling and
But what
dialing.
I learned was that consistency and persistency, and that nothing was going to come to me just like that because I dropped off some donuts. It meant that I kept on going and visiting and calling and staying in touch with people, not being annoying or a pest, because I hate when somebody approaches me with that. People can read in your face your intentions. But when they realized that all I wanted was to create the relationship and see where I could be of assistance, I was able to create that skill, if you will. But there is something more important to all of this for me, and it was the persistence and never giving up. You guys, it took me 3 years to get in the door with Del Monte Fresh. That's a huge international and national account. But I did it through what I told you guys. If I would have given up, I would have never had that client. And it took me probably 2.5 years to learn Baptist. Took me 2.5 years to learn Lexmark, which was all the printers. And I can go on and on and on mentioning big brand names, that to this day, these people follow me, not the company where I work. It's me who they want to do business with. But if I would have walked away with the first no, with the first email that I sent out and they never replied to me, when they told me, sorry, we don't accept, soliciting, where would I be, right? And to the point that to this day, we are friends. It's a friendship that has been created more than a business relationship. These people will call me to do any type of consultation in terms of how the market is doing, etc. So giving up is not even an option. It's not. But what we need to understand is that there is no way that we would start any business at all, any relationship with a significant other, somebody of interest, anything that you want to do. If you're going to give up at the first no, it's not going to happen. We're not going to give up at the first try. We're not going to give up at the first month, 3 months, a year. Give yourself a chance. Keep on going. Be persistent. See what is working, what is not working. Tweak things around and keep on moving forward. That would be my advice. My journey, Glenn, with Amazon has not been easy. But where I am today is because I have failed so many times. I keep on taking a chance and say, well, this is not working. Well, let me see what else can I do. And did I mess this up? And did I, really screwed this one up and I really lost money on this one? Well, who cares? I'm going forward. I'm moving forward. I see that as learning lessons, experiences, and I take from that what is good. I discard what wasn't and move forward. And that's how I see things,
I like it.
Just a little bit of my experience. I don't know if anything I said helps anybody, but if you help one, I'm great.
Can anybody here? I'm just curious. Can anybody here even conceive of Evelyn quitting something? This just does not compute. Doesn't make sense. But and I imagine it took you a minute to get to that point where you just know I'm not gonna quit. It may kill me, but I ain't gonna quit.
But I used to quit, Glenn. I used to quit. See, that's what I told you. It's when I got to that industry that I learned.
Yep.
There were a lot of things, and probably I didn't express that correctly. But basically, before I had so many network marketing opportunities that were given to me, and I just barely put any effort into it. Not enough phone calls, right? You're not talking to enough people. Well, you're not doing enough of what you should be doing in order to be successful.
Yeah.
And I would just give up. I'm like, well, maybe the industry wasn't for me, but it's not that the companies were bad or the product was bad. It was me who was not putting 100% of the effort. So find what you like, find what you love, stick to it, be patient, give yourself some grace, but keep on moving forward every day, just one little step at a time. Don't get overwhelmed with the size of the elephant. Just take a bite every day. Do a little bit, and then things will happen. But what I didn't understand and didn't know before is that I had to be consistent and persistency. And you know what they say, the teacher will appear when you're ready to hear what they have to say. I had not been ready prior to that, right? That's why I kept on quitting, and I kept on saying this doesn't work. Well, yes, they did work. What wasn't working was me. So,
Reminds me of a couple of old sayings, which we've all heard. You say, it wasn't the industry, it wasn't the company. Yeah, no matter where you go, there you are. And so the one consistent, the one common denominator in all of my failures and all of my successes is me. And so, thank you, Evelyn. Good stuff. Good stuff. Ali, good morning. Wait, sorry. Good afternoon. How are you? You may still be muted, Ali. Cannot hear you yet. Not hearing you yet. Still not. Loud and there. Now we can hear you. Please go forward.
Brilliant. Evelyn, absolutely brilliant. Thank you for all your words of wisdom. And Glenn, absolutely fantastic. And I can see in my past how it's that dabbling in something, and the moment it didn't work, I thought, yes, this isn't working, and I stopped. And so my whole mindset now has just so changed that I have got this absolute determination now to just keep going. I think it's really important that you like the process, though. If you're struggling away at something that you're really hating, perhaps it's not the right vehicle for you. But I think you do have to have that liking of the process. But yeah, absolutely. I had a show that we were doing a couple of Christmases ago, and I needed some sponsorship. So I was ringing down around businesses to try and get sponsorship. And it was notoriously difficult to get arts funding from businesses. But I rang around 50 people, and having read Hal Elrod's book, The Miracle Morning, and about how, that extraordinary effort to get results, and he's just working out that, if he got this many successful calls, and he had to ring 200 people and he got 20 successful calls, then just times that. If you want 40 calls, ring 400 people. It's such a simple thing. It just takes away that thing of, it's not working. Look at what works. So we got 3 sponsorship deals out of 50 calls, and that was fine. That helped a lot, and I didn't have time to continue. But it just gave me that that takes away any kind of mysticism. If I'd wanted more, I just need to do more calls. And it could have been another 100, another 150. Just do more, and you will get more deals. It is that simple, I think. And I love that it takes away that thing that it's not working. See, even if it was just one call out of 100, then call 500.
If we know, you're absolutely right, Ali. If we know our numbers, then success becomes a simple matter of math. If we know our numbers, then it simply becomes, if we know our numbers, then success really does become a numbers game. Focused effort, yes. Focused, concentrated numbers, but a numbers game, all the same, just the same. Thank you, Ali. That's good stuff. Persist. The question is, who's willing to make the 100, 200, 300, 400 contacts, calls, reach outs? Separates the winners from everybody else. Stefan, how's it going, my man?
Hey, guys.
Enjoying the great outdoors, I see.
Yeah, once the weather gets warmer, I basically will sit outside, do everything. I'll set up a table to work on my computer. I can't stand being inside. That's why winter sucks for me.
Excellent.
Especially me being like into gardening and stuff. Like I've been jonesing for it since like it stopped. So yeah. Basically, just wanted to bring up like in terms of like persistence and stuff. Like I struggle with procrastination, with like all of us do, to some degree or other. For me, it's one of my biggest challenges. But occasionally, I just listen to my gut, and I'll just follow what I need to do, and it, and I'm hoping it'll work out good. Basically, I just wrote a chapter for a book that's going to be published. It's a compilation book on writing a letter to your younger self.
Nice.
And it's giving advice to your younger self when you're at the age of like, whatever age you choose.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I kind of did it. It was difficult doing it in a way where, I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. First half of my life, a big portion of it sucked. Nothing to do with my family. Outside of that, I had a lot of stuff that I had to deal with, and it sucked. So that's stuff that I've had to deal with, and I kind of wanted to be able to write it in a way that wouldn't just be like a sob story and kind of give hope. And so it was kind of an interesting exercise to write a letter where like, hey, this stuff is going to happen to you, but maybe you could handle it in this way and get a different result, kind of thing. And so it was and putting it into a 1,500 word essay was more challenging than I thought.
But you did it.
But, yeah, and so we'll see where it goes. And it's just like I'll do stuff like that where I may let some opportunities slide because of those habits, and recently did. But I just gotta take the wins where I can get them.
Yes. Take the wins where we can get them. This whole thing of procrastination is interesting to me. I've been like you. What you're saying? I have in my past been a master procrastinator.
I had 3 months to write this chapter. I wrote it in 2 days. 2 days after it was due.
See, there you go. There you go. I know that for me, most of the time, what I've called procrastination was actually fear.
Yeah.
In my case, fear of, fear of failing, fear of like looking stupid, fear of getting into this and realizing that I don't actually know what I'm doing, didn't actually know what I was doing, fear of whatever, reasonable or unreasonable. But as my friend Ray Higdon likes to say, you aren't afraid of failing. You're afraid of people seeing you fail, which is pretty deep. And so one,
especially when you're talking about a vulnerable part of your life.
And so, in a lot of cases, one possible way to deal with procrastination, a way to deal with that fear, is to quit worrying about what other people think. Quit worrying so much about what other people are looking. Because you know what? Most people are not worried about you. Most people think about their own problems. I used to worry. I used to worry what other people thought of me. Until one day, I went to the bank and tried to pay my bills with their opinions.
Yeah, I've come to that realization a lot lately. Is I'm tired of living my life to please others, because I have some pretty strong opinions about certain things, and I quite often will tuck those aside in favor of being liked. And it's cost me opportunities and time and money, but it's also taught me that that's a dumb idea. So I guess in a way it's a good thing. But yeah, just even like with the podcast I'm doing right now, it's like sometimes I flinch. I'm like, oh, I just said that out loud. Well, I mean, it is what I think. So But
I'm just a great fan of quotes and sayings and everything, because that way I don't have to think up all the profound stuff, right? I can just kind of remember what somebody else said. And I heard one said by, actually, I think it was an actor. It was an actor. Yeah, Tom Selleck. That's who it was. Tom Selleck, who once said, popularity is the pocket change of history. The true measure is courage. Well, that's good. I posted that. I have posted that one before. I may have to put that one up on the wall. Thank you, Stefan. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being with us. My man, Edward, what's happening?
Hey, Glenn, how you doing today?
Fantastic, man.
Good. I hope everybody else is doing good too. I just want to kind of share with you a journey that has been so, I guess it's pretty much something that all of us have dealt with, but it's kind of like the look back mode, because, you look back at things and you say, well, if I had done this, if I'd stayed there, if I had done what I needed to do then. But then you think about things that happen and you try to rationalize it, but you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Like say, for instance, you have limited success and you see yourself getting where you want to go and things are progressing like you need to. And all of a sudden you realize that you're bored with the way things are and you want more, but it doesn't happen like you want it. And the people that you think are going to be on your side, they aren't. And you learn that, your ladder is on the wrong vehicle, the wrong house.
You mean your ladder on the wrong wall.
Yeah. And you that's validated by what comes to light as time goes by.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going back to some conversations you and I have had,
Yes.
with our histories,
Yes.
where you have your leadership that has turned into, adversarial because they weren't telling you the truth. And then you find out that some of the leadership, were telling you things that you should, you should do, and you were doing them to perfection, but the premise was wrong. But in spite of all that, if you had stayed with what you were doing, where would you be now? Because the people who did stay are very, very successful now.
Yes.
So the question you have to ask yourself is, where are you in terms of the consistency, the persistence, and what is it that's going to allow you to continue, or what is it that's going to allow you to get off track? Because I look back at it and, where I was then, that same company is now, almost $10 billion, and when I was with them, they were three billion, so I could have rode that wave, but because of some things that I had my eyes on and some revelations that came to fruition that I didn't really realize what was going on, it derailed me. So what I would say to everybody is be careful, I guess, of your consciousness. Be careful of, who you allow to affect you, because, sometimes, leadership can betray you, and you got to just make sure you just hold on to the principles that you learn, that you know. So,
man, if only I had learned that lesson a while ago. How many times have I think I may have mentioned this. Thank you so much, Edward. That's you hit play on a tape in my head, as I imagine you can see, where I can remember so many times when I have followed many cases blindly, too many cases, blindly followed the advice of a leader or of someone that I thought was a leader, and ended up in a place I didn't really want to be, either financially or ethically. And when those times come, it seems like our instincts will usually steer us the right way. Our gut will usually steer us in the right direction. The thing is, sometimes the gut needs to be trained, which is why we are here, filling our minds with all of this positive information and surrounding ourselves with people who have our best interests in mind, who have proven that they have our best interests in mind, proven by their actions, you see. And so I like this, Edward, the thought of yes, shift gears when the time is right, but sometimes, as you say, sometimes, as we were talking with Madam Chop Chop a minute ago, no matter where you go, there you are. So I can brighten the, it doesn't matter so much what somebody else is doing. I can brighten the corner where I am and succeed. If someone has succeeded doing what you want to do, then that means somebody else can do it, including you. So sometimes it's not just greener pastures. A lot of times, what's that old saying? Another old saying, right? If the grass is greener on the other side, maybe it's getting better care. Yeah, I'm just saying. Lieutenant Colonel Riggle, what's happening, sir?
I gotta tell you, Glenn, I don't think I'd ever heard it said that way. That's pretty funny. Yeah. I look at my neighbor and go,
Yeah.
Yeah, what's he doing that I'm not doing, or
Exactly.
vice versa,
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, I like this topic today. I know this is an arena or an environment that I have not really traveled down very far, in this last year and a half, as we go into the end of the first third of the of 2021.
Mm.
And I speak of like entrepreneurship and the ups and downs, and I can only go back to something I've continued to say over and over again, and that is this group. Boy, I tell you, it's smoothed out the ways. I'm not saying that I'm, that every day, as you have mentioned in your talk, and what Evelyn has talked about in terms of persistence and consistency, and the Weldon book. I read the Weldon book. That's the first thing I did last year when I got started in March. So this was, this has been a kind of a renewal, and I'm going through some of these books, the 5-second rule, etc. Kind of, just kind of going through them again, because I've had some flat spots, and that's okay. I think what I believe in this environment, what this has done for me is, as Evelyn has mentioned, it's given me understanding, and even as you have said, just because you fail doesn't mean you're a failure. We go through these trials, we go through to get from one peak to another. The valley may be short, or it may be very lengthy, but just don't give up. So I keep pursuing this. The one thing I would, there's another saying, and I've heard it said here too, is if you chase two rabbits, you'll catch neither one. I guess my feeling or my philosophy, my outlook on that is beginning to change. And what I mean by that is, I think this group and this environment is allowing me to get closer to being able to get both those rabbits.
Huh.
And I'm not perfect. I'm still having management issues. I'm talking to Emma. I'm going down that direction. There's and I still have Therese. I'm using some of the expertise in this group because I certainly don't know it all, and I'm finding the more I get involved in this, the more I realize I don't know, and I need to keep even keel and stay focused in the right way, and not lose confidence or hope, or intent, and those things that we've learned in this environment. So just got to keep plugging away and keep the faith and stay focused and have that mindset at the end that this is going to happen. This is what it's going to be. And just because I'm being tested doesn't mean that I just need to say, forget it. But by the same token, I mean, how far does one go to say maybe feed the stallions and let the others go? So that's the other line. That's the other line I'm drawing, figuring out what really makes sense and what doesn't. But at the point here right now, at least this group, what it's providing me are the tools that I can kind of chase both those rabbits, and I'm having good progress on all fronts, and
Excellent.
they could be better, but I'm actually kind of enjoying this because I'm one of those guys, idle mind is the devil's playground. I need to I need to stay active and stay involved in things, and I'm my own worst enemy, man. I can get in trouble real quick if I'm even at this age. I just got to stay, have to have things that keep me going and keep me positive and active and moving. So thank you. Great topic today. I'm really enjoying this.
We're taking notes, everyone. We're taking notes, everyone, to avoid catastrophes. Mark must be kept busy.
Yes.
Yes. Same.
Yeah.
Though that's good. It is a fine. It can be a fine line that we walk between persist, don't give up here, shiny object syndrome, or as I said, called it in the book, furry object syndrome. Rarely does any good, and yet sometimes it's time to cut our losses. As I said before, the thing I keep thinking about is if what I'm doing is honest, if it's ethical, if it's legal, if it's a legitimate way to make money, if it's a solid product or service or system with a legitimate way to make money, and if good people are making money there, then it's probably too soon to quit. Tony Robbins likes to say success leaves clues. And we're coming up to the top of the hour here, so if you've got a thought, toss it out here. Tony Robbins likes to say success leaves clues. So if there is someone in my sphere of awareness who is succeeding at what I seek to do, then my best next move is to get a hold of that person, either in person or through what they put out into the marketplace, their books, their podcasts, whatever. Get in touch, get in contact with that person, find out how they did it, and do the same thing. Seems pretty simple. And it is. But as we say, this kind of success, it's not easy. It's simple, but it's going to cut you wide open and make you face yourself and figure out who you are. And that ain't easy. The question is, am I willing to go through that process of self-inspection and discipline? Oh, there's that word again. And persistence, consistency to finally achieve the results I seek. Those are the questions. Thank you, Mark. Emma, I think we may be wrapping up with Emma. How are you?
Hi. Yeah, we're all good, thanks. Yeah, I love this. It's such a key topic, and one that I've been going over a lot in my head today because I've been listening to Power Consistency. And I think what's interesting is, whereas last year a certain fear factor would have put me off certain things, this year being consistent and trying to get to that end goal has definitely paying off. And I'd say it's kind of getting over that fear factor. And the thing that I've kind of learned is, where you come up with adversity, actually, if you get over it, the feeling of satisfaction when you've done that and what you've learned is like tenfold. So actually, I now really challenge to get something that is like hard, because it then makes me feel great when I've overcome it. And whereas probably in a business, when you're in the corporate world in the past, you would kind of, you still seek approval from other people, but it's almost like you haven't always got those people around you now. And so it's so important that you just throw yourself in, and you've just got to keep going. But the other thing that I did think today after listening to Power of Consistency was, it's almost like I'm now just taking a step back, because one of the questions that I think he asked, which I think is really important, is what are you putting in your box, and where do you want to get to? And I know Shannon and John said last night, what's your end goal? And so
Yes.
I think I have a habit of running along and not sometimes taking that step back and going, actually, what is my strategy? Where do I want to head? And what do I put in my box for each of those end goals? Because I've got 3 or 4, even 5 things that I would really like to do in business. And I think it's really important that I'm starting to put in that box, what do I need to do to get to that end goal, even by the end of this year, by year 3 and year 5. So yeah, that's a big one for me today. And that is what I'm going to do. Friday is going to be all about goal setting and understanding what I'm putting in my box. So that's me.
The difference between activity and accomplishment. Thank you, Emma. Oh, that's good stuff. What are you putting in your box? I like it. Final thoughts. We are absolutely exactly at the top of the hour. Once again, reviewing. You've got the hospitality suite coming up right after us. Swing by and wave, and we'll be glad to see you. Books for Britain with our friend Mandy at 3 Eastern. Life and Business Tools, Adrian at 6. And then back here with me tonight at 9 for Networking Magic. Thank you all so much. And remember, like the man said, when you think you've done everything you can, remember this: you haven't. Have a great one, my friends. Make it a great one. As John likes to say, you absolutely deserve it. Bye for now.